Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jimmy, and today I'm going to share with you a bunch of helpful tips, tricks, and hidden features and settings that is built inside of your Samsung gallery that you probably never knew even existed. So first off, let's take a look at the very bottom. You have your different tabs of pictures, albums, and stories. Now, the first things that we'll take a look at is just inside of pictures, and yours might look a little bit different than mine, and the reason why is that you are able to do a pinch to zoom. So either you can zoom in or zoom out. A bunch of your photos are going to show up in their aspect ratios if they're 16:9 or 4:3. You can also see that I'm able to change the size of the images, but we're still stuck on the date of those pictures and videos. Now, if you scroll out just a little bit more, now it's going to show it set up per month. These are all of the pictures and videos taken or downloaded per that month. If you're to go out one more time, it's still set up the same way, but smaller images. And then if you go out one more, now you're taking a look at the full entire year. So these are all of the pictures taken in 2024, 2023, 2022, and obviously these are just saved from old past devices. Now, one of the cool things is maybe you know that some of your pictures were at the beginning of 2024, and rather than scrolling through everything, if you go to this view right here, you tap on the very bottom, now what it's going to happen is it's going to go into that area of that year. As you notice, I went towards the very bottom of 2024, so it took me over into February. If I was to go right up over here, then it's going to probably take me over into something newer, which was June of 2024. Now, all you got to do just to go right on back is just zoom on in, and then now you're able to go to the very top, and now you're probably looking at your photos the same way that they were from before. Now, second up, let's take a look at this Albums tab. Now, there's a lot of things that you can do here. One of them is, let's say that you wanted to zoom in and zoom out. You're able to do the exact same things that you were able to do from before. So if you want your view of albums to look like this, you can make it look like this, or if you want to make them a little bit smaller or bigger, however you want it to look, you're able to do. Now, next up, what I want to show you is that let's say that you tap on an album, and you can notice on the left-hand side, I have all of the albums over here on the left-hand side that I can actually switch to very quickly, so I can take a look at everything within that album. Also, what you can do within all these albums, you can, again, pinch to zoom, make them bigger, make them smaller. But let's say maybe you don't even have this little film strip on the left-hand side showing you all of your other albums. Maybe yours is looking like this. So if you are missing all of your albums on the left-hand side, or maybe you prefer this way, what will happen now is every single time you go inside of an album, it's going to show it up without the little film strip on the left. But if you want it to show up, all you got to do is swipe on over to the right, and they will pull right back up. So then this way you can switch between all of your different albums again. And since we're talking about albums, let's go back to the Albums tab here. Now, one of the things that you're able to do, or maybe even notice right now, is that I have all of my albums here just automatically. Now, you might have yours set up to where you have essential albums first, and then you can actually expand it into all albums. This is how you're able to toggle that on and off. All you have to do is go to your Albums tab on the bottom, tap on the little sandwich settings icon, go back inside of settings, and right here is where it says select essential albums. So this is where you can select which albums you want to show up, and that is it. There's nothing else that you need to have. So if there's other albums that you don't want people to see, if you're trying to show pictures maybe from your favorites or camera or whatever, all the rest of those albums are, I guess, kind of hidden, but not really hidden. You just have to go inside of View All, and they're sitting here. So depending on how you want yours set up, if you want it set up as essential albums or all of them, all you have to do is tap on that little sandwich menu button, go inside of settings. You can either have it on or you can have it off. Now, for the last feature underneath the Albums tab, one of the things you're able to do is, let's say that you have a couple albums that are super similar or kind of, could be clustered or grouped together. What you're able to do is, let's say that maybe we have a video editor and we also have some of the videos that we have edited. Or maybe you have, Call of Duty Package 1, Halo Package 2, whatever the case may be. If there's something that's kind of similar, like maybe gaming or something that you have downloaded or stuff that you have edited, if you were to press and hold and select multiple albums, you can actually group them together. And you can give them a group name. So you can just, maybe call this one gaming, or you can just have it be, group 1. And once you create it, now they'll actually be in a group together. And you can see right there, it is called gaming. And when you tap there, now you have two different albums together. So maybe you have a group together of 2023 vacations, and all of the 4 or 2 or 3 vacations you took for that year, you can put them all into vacations 2023. Then you have your Hawaii trip, your Florida trip, California trip, and Vermont, or whatever the case. So that is one of the cool things you can do, is grouping of the albums. Now, if you ever did create one and then you don't want them to be grouped up together, or maybe you did it by accident, just press and hold and tap on ungroup. Now we're getting into the stuff that more than likely you didn't know because they are hidden, because you actually have to get them unlocked. When you go inside of your albums, you want to go inside of your settings, and then inside of settings, you're going to scroll on down and you're going to unlock Gallery Labs. Now, Gallery Labs will give you a bunch of really cool features that you're able to play with, and it'll also show you some that are part of Samsung One UI 6.1.1. That is not a part of this over here, which is One UI 6.1. So how you're able to unlock Gallery Labs, you just want to go inside of About Gallery, and you'll see this version number right there. And when you tap on that version number like 7 or 8 times, it'll actually unlock the Gallery Labs, and then it'll just sit right here. Now in here, there's a few different settings that I want to show you. The first one is right here, more options in viewer bottom, which basically just means that little sandwich menu, it will actually show back up on the bottom rather than it being on the top. So currently, for your more options, when it comes down over into what you have in your gallery, let's say that we take a look at this picture right here. Down here on the very bottom, the far right icon is delete. The more settings is on the very top. Maybe it's a little bit harder for you to reach this little more settings on the top. You can actually bring it to the bottom. And that is with this little feature right here. You go inside of your sandwich menu, go inside of settings, you go down to the Gallery Labs, do the more options in viewer bottom. So now that we've done that, the one thing you do need to do is just close out of gallery. When you open it back up, what will happen is when you take a look at this image, your more options down here is now next to your delete icon or the trash icon. Now you can just simply do all of your more stuff rather than tapping on the very top. Now going back inside of Gallery Labs, we'll take a look at just a few more inside of here. So this just kind of depends if you still want it to be on or off. As you scroll on down, you have an option right there that is called Remote Gallery, so you can access an album of the remote device in the same Wi-Fi domain. Down over here, you have a setting that was introduced back in One UI 5 point whatever, and this is a album entry lock. So what you can do with this one here is that as you turn that one on, then if you want to hide one of these, so I can press and hold, then on the bottom right hand side, there's the more option. This is where I can lock the album. So beforehand, this option was not there. So now that this album is locked, in order for you to actually see anything, you put in your PIN or your little password or credentials. This is pretty much just using your lock screen credentials to get into a album, and then it locks it immediately. So this is just a way that you can lock an album if you want to, but you can still view everything once it is unlocked. Now, if you're wondering how you're able to unlock this thing again, because maybe you press and hold, you tap down here, there's no option to unlock it. What you need to do is you have to go into the album and then you can unlock it. So once you have the credentials to unlock it, which makes sense, that means anybody could just unlock it whenever. When you're actually inside of it and it's being unlocked, this is where you can now unlock the album and it's back to its normal visibility. Now going back inside the gallery, let's say that we just watch a video. Now currently right now that there really is no video line, in order for you to fast forward or go through a video, you have to tap on the video on the bottom for you to scroll through for all of it. Now, if you want to go back to that old version where you can see the little timeline, it's actually way back in, I think, One UI 3 or something. So if you go back inside your settings, you go to the Gallery Labs. As you scroll on down, you go past that One UI 5 dot whatever, and you're going to go down into this One UI 3 dot whatever. Here's your video player mode on Film Strip. If you go back to the Legacy Video Seek bar, now what's going to happen is, again, once you close out of everything, when you take a look at this video, you're going to now have your video line back. Now, it may not work perfect because, again, this is a part of Gallery Labs. This is more for like testing and internal reasons or whatever. So you will have your little video line seeker, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And for the most part, it doesn't. But it is something that if you don't really care to really fast forward, you just want to watch the video line, at least you have this option. Now, if you just want all of your features to be there so you can scroll through a video really quick, I would probably suggest going back inside of your Gallery Lab, and then you want to go inside of that video mode seeker, just go right back to default. Now I'm going to show you one more thing on this phone over here before we move over inside of Samsung One UI 6.1.1, and that is the spacing in between, photos and videos. So when you take a look at some of these pictures here, you can see that there is a spacing, especially with this right here inside of the pictures tab. You can see all of those spacings right there. If you go back inside of the settings, go back inside of Gallery Lab, and as you scroll back down to where we just were, that One UI 3 dot whatever, you have dynamic spacing between photos. Now, out of the box, out of stock, your photos are going to look like this. There's absolutely no spacings in between your pictures. And maybe that could be nice. Maybe it could be a little annoying. Maybe you want to have a little bit of spacing going in between. You know, you can see all of this is just sitting super close together. If you want to have the spacing, then you just want to turn on that setting that I just got done showing you, which is right here, dynamic spacing between photos. Again, you close out of it. The next time you go back in, you'll actually have all the spacings in between your photos and videos. Now moving over inside of Samsung One UI 6.1.1, on the very top, there is actually a few additional features, or it could be also renamed. So this right here is a renamed one, which is the hamburger menu in the viewer bottom. That's just bringing the more settings on the bottom of your screen. Remember how it used to be on the top? Now it's on the bottom. They just renamed it. This one's also new, the show sticky data and location. Might as well just keep that one on because there's a little bit of details when it comes down to your photos that you might want to keep. But what you have down over here is also new. You have Go to Studio. So in Samsung One UI 6.1.1, when you tap here, the Go to Studio option always will show up. You can actually turn that off if you want to, and that is inside of Gallery Labs. Now, the other thing that I think is actually pretty cool is that you can create a slideshow now with selected items. And if you start that slideshow, you can actually have it repeat. So I'm not going to have it repeat. I'm just going to show you what it looks like to start the slideshow. Just know that if you turn on the second option here, you can now create the slideshow, but it's also going to do a auto repeat for a playback. So right now, when I turned on that setting, let's say that we take a look at just a couple photos. On the bottom right-hand side, you click on more. One of the things I wanted to show you is not sitting there. That is why every single time you make any changes inside of Gallery Lab, just close out of it, go back inside your gallery. So now what's going to happen is if I select a few different photos, on the bottom right-hand side, here is that slideshow. That little setting that we just turned on, now it's going to start a slideshow, and it's actually going to, maybe move the image a little bit, zoom in, zoom out, and it's also playing a little bit of music with it. Now here's that option for watch again. Now, if you had the option turned on for it to repeat the slideshow, it's just going to keep on repeating. So if you are at an event where you want to have a bunch of photos going on and you just want to make sure that's being done simply, just make sure you go inside of Gallery Labs. This is where you're able to select any of your pictures and videos and everything in order for you to start your slideshow. So this way you wouldn't have to download some third-party app to do it. You can just have it being done on your Samsung phone. So hopefully you have learned something in this video. I covered a lot in this video, going from very basic to things that are advanced or at least 100% hidden. All you have to do is unlock and then go through and play with it. But if you guys like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe on the very bottom left-hand side. And if you like this video, then more than likely you'll also like this video. And I'll see you guys later.